Good morning, it's me and we are doing our Kippers again. I am going to do a daily draw for you, but I'm also going to speak to you about the buildings in the Kipper group, in the Kipper cards, because the buildings are very special in our Kipper cards and I'm going to tell you why. So I'm going to do a read today for my husband because he's got a big day today, so I want to see what his day is going to be today. He ends his day today. So he has good outcome next to him. This is the most important card because it's next to him. So it is super good outcome card today. The good outcome card is going to then change into our his thoughts, which is plans and strategies. So he's going to have a good outcome on what he's looking for today, and then he's going to have to turn that into plans and strategies. After it, we have the short illness card, which is a card. It's coming up a lot lately for a lot of people and in different types of reads. This is a work read for my husband. Intention was set when I set my question. I always set the intention of the theme as well. So the short illness can say there's a good outcome that leads to planning, but it may take a little bit longer. Not what he wants to hear, but it may take longer than he's hoping for, or he may just be pooped at the end of his work day. I will quickly pull out the cards I am looking for now. Why am I talking about the buildings in Kipper? Buildings are super important in Kipper because there's so few of them. We are such a people and sorry, I keep getting notifications at the bottom, it's driving me crazy. There are so many people cards, there's so many, it's a situational deck, so it's all situations, that when the buildings come out, especially when we get them all out together, I'm just laying them out in front of me here, then it is a read that we should pay attention to, but in a different way. The buildings are naturally also stop cards. So if you have a lot of buildings in a read, then you are looking at a stalled progression or stunted perhaps. There's no flow from one thing to the next. So the building cards we have a living room, we have house, we have court, prison and high honors. And I've done them in this setup for a reason. The smallest building we have is living room. And living room is an internal building, so it can be an apartment, it can be a office space, it can actually just be your own booth. If you go to a restaurant, this could be the booth at the restaurant. So the internal part of an external building. The external building then, the first one we have is house. And house, I don't know why I'm throwing them around again. House is your, it can be your house. I'm sat in my house right now, I'm sat in the internal space of my house. But it can also, if we're in a work read, it can be a company. Now, what kind of company would this be? This would be your family company or a single office company. So a company that isn't spread around. It would be something that would just have one base. The next card is court. And court is your public buildings. So it would be your local council, as an example, or police station, for example. So we would be, you can see we've gone from small internals to a bigger building to an even bigger building. And we follow that with our prison. And prison is if we stick with the company analogies, we are looking at, for example, here we have BMW, who is a huge company around the world. We have Allianz, the insurance company. That's a much bigger than your local councils and fits a lot more people in it. The other thing you can see this as is a campus. So for example, the technology companies today, like Microsoft, Google, etc., etc., they have campuses where they have more than one building on site, and that will be your prison. Huge in huge land. And then we have our lovely High Honours card. And the High Honours card is, it can be to do with education, of course, so it could be a university. If we take education along the line, we would have your university campus. Then you would have a building on campus or a comprehensive school, for example, a high school. And then you would have a privately run school. And then you would have a dorm or a classroom. So as you can see, you can pass any theme you choose, you can pass it through your buildings. So if we have a GT and we have a lot of the building cards together, we can also interpret that as the buildings fall. We can, in a work read again, you can see it's not a movement because they're stalled buildings, but we can see perhaps if we have state of marriage in between, we can see a merger. For example, a business merger between if it was house and here. So you would have a larger company taking on the smaller company in a merger or a buyout, for example. We can also see if we have a change in the middle, or court officials, another good one that couples the cards together. We can see somebody who's going through a job process or a job interview process, and we see a move from a smaller company to a larger company, or vice versa. We can also see somebody who's been working for Google, Microsoft and the likes, and they actually want to set up a private practice and they get their own office space. So the building cards, don't just always think that they are their core meanings, like comfortable, stable, decisions, isolated or secrets, and respect. Think about them as literally buildings, because these are situational cards again, and our lives revolve around buildings, so don't automatically rule them out. And that's it for today. I will try and do tomorrow. Next week is going to be different. We have a bank holiday and I have a workshop on 2, so I may be a little less around. But keep tuning in, because I will keep giving you some little goodies that I generally don't share elsewhere. Have a fabulous day. Bye.